We just docked in Alesund, Norway. Let's check out the view from my balcony. Today, the ship docked on the starboard side, so our port side balcony has a view of the harbor area. We see homes, buildings, several boats and ferries, and some shipping containers. I wondered if we are docked in an industrial port. Let's go to the starboard side of the ship to check out the view there. We are docked right in town, and this is a major city. Whoa, that bird was close. I figured it would take a little while to get my bearings, but remember this canal and that building. I'll come back to that later in the video. As we sailed into Alesund this morning, I wondered a little bit about that tower, but we'll find out about that a little more a little later today. Today's excursion is one that we purchased through the ship, the Highlights of Alesund. Our motor coach was waiting for us in the parking lot right beside the ship. First stop was at a scenic viewpoint where our guide told us about the significance of this tower. Turns out that this is a temporary structure made completely out of wooden pallets. Tonight, some crazy volunteers will scale to the top of that tower and light it on fire and then rush back down, I guess as carefully as they can, while the tower burns. This city holds the record for the largest bonfire. Well, I say they broke that record back in 2016. I believe Ireland has broken it since then. But anyway, it is a huge tower and an amazing event that happens as a midsummer celebration here in Alesund. Just look it up on YouTube. It is amazing. Our ship will not be in port tonight when they light this on fire. Probably a good thing, although it would be pretty neat to be able to see it from the ship. One of my very favorite things to do on tour is to go to an open air museum. This one in Alesund is absolutely gorgeous. Buildings have been brought from all around Norway and reassembled here. Our guide explains how the grasses and trees on the roof provide great insulation, and sometimes goats can be seen on the rooftops when the roof needs a little mowing. We saw a mill, a boathouse, a school. These small structures lined up in a row are called church huts. The placard tells us that people would travel all day to get to church and use these huts where goods are normally stored to change into their Sunday clothes. Then after church, they would store their clothes and hymn books and other items in those huts. There's also a church on the property. Since the buildings come from different periods of history, I'm sure this is not the one that the hut users worshipped in. This is the main entrance to the Sunmore Museum, and just outside here is a building housing a boat display. Boats from several different centuries are displayed here. As I was walking back to the bus, I noticed this sign with a map of the property. I wish they had given us a map during the tour because I saw too late that we could have taken a path to a medieval museum during our free time. I would have loved to have seen that. After our tour, we decided to explore a little on our own. Remember earlier when I told you to notice this canal and that building? I'm now standing on a bridge just in front of our ship that crosses that canal. From this vantage point, you can see the most picturesque area of the city of Alesund. These buildings along the water show up in photos, puzzles, and on screensavers, and it's worth a stroll over here. You can see a Silver Sea cruise ship docked on the far side. There's this little tourist train, and here comes the hop-on, hop-off bus. As I pan to the right, you can see that there is another ship in port to the bow of our ship. The hop-on, hop-off bus stop is conveniently located right there. You can take that bus all the way to the top of the mountain to the Mount Axla viewpoint. Or if you're really in the mood to get your steps in, you can take on that challenge. Following the pathway in front of our neighboring ship leads us out of the secured area into an information center. Here there were signs posted about how to use the public transportation to see some of the sights here in Alesund. A placard showing the route for the sightseeing train, and another one with a large map of the area. And I was able to pick up a hop-on, hop-off map for Alesund for future reference. Looks like it would be a great tour So if we ever make it back to Alesund, I think I'll do the hop-on, hop-off. Tickets for both the train and the bus were sold out by the time I checked into these options later in the day. So if this is something you think you might enjoy, get your tickets early in the day or perhaps purchase them online in advance. We were happy with our earlier tour and spent our remaining time walking in the picturesque part of town, taking some of our own photographic memories. Goodbye, Alesund. This is Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and I hope all of your journeys are pleasant ones.